So many gamers are missing out on this one cool thing. They can get amazing gifts for just playing their favorite games. All they need to do is download this one app that doesn't slow down the PC whatsoever. Are you ready for a new era of gaming? Introducing Buff, the gamer's loyalty app. Play your favorite games with no interruptions.
Now, as time would progress, the Patinella would seemingly not be able to continue a mundane life either, as the boat had continued to pop up in newspapers over the years. In the 1970s, a man by the name of Norm Hunt had his own set of adventures with the Patinella, where in a around-the-world journey, he had eventually been iced in at Greenland Harbor. After spending days dodging icebergs, they eventually made it out unscathed. Additionally, on another voyage to Kenya during this time, the ship had been left unattended for less than half of an hour. After they returned back to the ship, they had found that the ship had been ransacked. And while it's definitely surprising just how many times this tiny ship had made headlines, we're really only getting started going into the 80s. Because that's when the story of the Patinella would really take a bizarre turn. That being in 1988, when after being passed down from owner to owner, the ship had eventually been purchased by a wealthy businessman from Perth by the name of Alan Nicol. At the time, the ship was valued at about $500,000. And after being purchased, this is when Patinella's final known journey would begin. On the 16th of October, 1988, the goal was a month-long voyage where they were to set out from Fremantle Harbor for Airlie Beach in Australia, where Nicol planned to vacation in the Whitsundays with his wife and their 2 children. The boat was also scheduled to work as a charter vessel thereafter. As the journey began, the boat had a crew of 6. On board was the schooner's owner, who we already discussed, his skipper, Ken Jones, a 52-year-old distinguished sailor, his wife, Noreen Jones, their daughter, Rona Lee Jones, and 2 young sailors, 23-year-old John Blissett and 21-year-old Michael Calvin. Blissett and Calvin were new to the boat, and they first started working for Alan after they both struck up a conversation with him at Fremantle before the journey started. Both of the young men explained that they were looking to gain sailing hours that they could add towards their navigational certificates. Additionally, they agreed that they could work as crewmen for the boat's charter business when they arrived at Airlie Beach. As a result, Nicol hired them. And as the first portion of the journey began, it was all smooth sailing. But on October 29th, both Rona Lee Jones and Alan Nicol had got off the boat at Port Lincoln for other work-related commitments. This is only temporary for Alan, though, and he planned on getting back on the boat in Sydney on November 8th, where he would get back on the boat and continue to Airlie Beach to meet his family. But little did Alan and Rona Lee know that at the time they were getting off the boat at Port Lincoln, it would be the last time they saw Patinella ever again. As a result, this left 4 people on board: Ken Jones, his wife Noreen, and the 2 new crewmen, John Blissett and Michael Calvin. A few days after Alan was dropped off, on November 4th, Alan received a radio call from his skipper who claimed that the boat was docked in Portland and that they needed money for fuel. While the money was later wired to Ken, he later withdrew it, but it's unclear if he actually purchased fuel that day. The next day, on November 5th, Michael Calvin's father had received a surprise call from his son. On the line, he said, "Good day, Dad." But after this, the line went dead. On that same day, Jones radioed Wilson's